Hare Krishna, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue reading from Caitanya Caritamrita Adi-Lila, chapter 7, text 109. Guna vritye yeva bhasya karila acharya tahar shravane nasha haya sarvakarya. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sripad Shankaracharya has described all the Vedic literatures in terms of indirect meanings. One who hears such explanations is ruined. So we just heard yesterday the 108 Upanishads, the names, out of which 11, the first 11 are the more prominent ones. And then it goes to say that whoever hears the explanation of Sripad Shankaracharya, then we are ruined. Why? Because that was his service. It was his service to bewilder us, those who don't want to come to Krishna. It's for this reason that he came here. It's for this reason that Krishna sent him here. Sripad Shankaracharya is the incarnation of Lord Shiva. And this was his service. Okay, here we are reading it. Tanhar nahi kadosh Ishvara agyapana gaunartha karila mukhya artha achadiya. Shankaracharya is not at fault, for it is under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he has covered the real purport of the Vedas. So Shankaracharya, he knows the real purport of the Vedas because he's Lord Shiva himself. And even in his final writing, he said, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Muda Matehe. Says, you worship Govinda. He said that, but his followers don't accept it. Why? Because he's written so much literature in word jugglery, words, misinterpreting the words, all that he covered the meaning of the Vedas. Why did he do it? Because the Supreme Lord told him to do it. That's why he did it. That's his service. The Vedic literature is to be considered a source of real knowledge. Real knowledge comes from the Vedic literature. But if one does not take it as it is, one will be misled. As it is. When we are hearing, we have to accept the Vedic literature as it is. You know, if our teacher, maths teacher, is telling us 1 + 1 is 2, we say, no, I'm going to make 1 + 1 is 3. What's going to happen? I'm going to just make a fool of myself and also of the other people who are going to follow me. For sure, I'll find some followers. You know, when we speak, there will be some people who will get attracted to us. There will be some like-minded people. So, but then what happens? We are just becoming a nuisance for ourselves and for others. So the Vedic literature, the spiritual knowledge, has to be just heard as it is. For example, the Bhagavad Gita is an important Vedic literature that has been taught for many years. But because it was commented upon by unscrupulous rascals, people derived no benefit from it, and no one came to the conclusion of Krishna consciousness. So Bhagavad Gita, since 5,000 years, since millions of years it's been in the human society, but okay, even for this past few hundred years, it's been spoken of, it's been, so prominently in so many different languages. But we have to see, why wasn't it able to make devotees? What happened? Why? Because people were misrepresenting the Bhagavad Gita. Before Srila Prabhupada translated Bhagavad Gita as it is, how many people were becoming devotees by reading Bhagavad Gita? How many? Most were becoming more and more confused. So since the purport of the Bhagavad Gita is now being presented as it is, however, within 4 or 5 short years, thousands of people all over the world have become Krishna conscious. So Srila Prabhupada is writing at that time, when he had just first published the Bhagavad Gita. We can see that how so many people, till today, we are still studying Bhagavad Gita as it is. And so many more people are becoming devotees even today. That is the difference between direct and indirect explanation of the Vedic literature. That is the difference. That just what the scriptures are saying, that's it. No need to put our own interpretation, our perception. No, because it is faulty. We have faults. We simply repeat what we have heard. Prabhupada would give a very good example, simple example. He would say that the sun is small. He doesn't know anything much. So, but he sees a microphone. And he asks the father, what is this? Father says, this is microphone. And the son simply repeats, this is microphone. The son does not know what is the meaning of microphone, does not know how to use it, nothing. But because he has heard from the correct source, this is microphone. And because he's just repeating, this is microphone, his knowledge is perfect. The child is not perfect, but the knowledge of his knowledge is perfect, that this thing is a microphone. That's it simply. So the same way, we simply hear from the authorities and we speak it. That's it. Yeah, we don't need to put our own interpretation or misinterpretation in it. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mukhya Vritye se artha parama mahatva. To teach the Vedic literature according to its direct meaning without false commentary is glorious. So this is Lord Chaitanya saying, teach the literature according to its direct meaning. Don't put false commentary on it. The minute we put our commentary on it, we are going to spoil it. We just speak what we are hearing from the authorities. That's it. Unfortunately, Sri Shankaracharya, by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, compromised between atheism and theism in order to cheat the atheists and bring them to theism. And to do so, he gave up the direct method of Vedic knowledge and tried to present a meaning which is indirect. It is with this purpose that he wrote the Shariraka Bhasya commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So, because before Sri Shankaracharya, Buddhism was very prominent in India. Mostly all of India had become Buddhist. And why had Lord Buddha come? Lord Buddha, he's an incarnation of Krishna, but he taught atheism. Voidism is atheism. But what did he do? Because people were misusing the Vedas. On the name of Vedas, they were killing animals and eating them. Everywhere they had become slaughterhouses. So they were misusing the Vedas and indulging in eating animals. So Lord Buddha came and said, okay, don't follow the Vedas, you just follow me. That's it. In that way, he cheated them. He taught them to come to the mode of goodness, non-violence. That's what Lord Buddha taught. Don't hurt anyone, don't harm anyone, non-violent, and you just come to me. You follow me. Don't follow the Vedas, follow me. So Lord Buddha is Krishna himself. Then again, what happened? After some time, again, the teachings were getting distorted. So, and Lord Chaitanya has to come. I'm sorry, Lord Chaitanya still has to come. So suddenly from zero, voidism, people will not be able to accept the concept of that God is a person. So then, and where is this concept coming from? So Krishna sent Shankaracharya, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is an Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. And Lord Krishna told him, you preach this impersonalism, that at least you bring back the faith of the people to the Vedas. So now they have become good character, they have become non-violent. Again, now you bring their faith back to the Vedas. But I'm going to come and give true love of God, but I want to keep out the atheists. So you do your word jugglery so that the atheists are going to get confused in that. That's what Srila Shankaracharya did. The impersonal theory is just a word jugglery. And it says that God and the living entity is one. But what happened is people got faith again in the Vedas. And then Lord Chaitanya came and said there is not one, but there is two, the living entity and God. and that the living entity is a part and parcel of God. So this is how the thing moved on from Buddhism to impersonalism and now to devotional service. So then reading on, one should not therefore attribute very much importance to the Shariraka Bhasya. In order to understand Vedanta philosophy, one must study Srimad Bhagavatam, which begins with the words Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Yato Anvayad Itaras Chartheshva Abhikya Swarat. I offer my obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, who is the supreme, all-pervading personality of Godhead. I meditate upon him, the transcendent reality, who is the premeable cause of all causes, from whom all manifested universes arise, in whom they dwell, and by whom they are destroyed. I meditate upon that eternally effulgent Lord, who is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations and yet is fully independent. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 1. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. It's the natural commentary of the Vedas. And right from the first verse itself, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam is Srila Vyasadeva. The very first verse, he immediately tells us who's God, who's the Supreme Lord. He tells us his name, he tells us his position. And then begins the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is a glorification of the Lord and his pure devotees. The first verse, he identifies who's God. He's saying that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna. Who is this Lord Sri Krishna? He's the son of Vasudeva. And then he is the supreme, all-pervading personality of Godhead. So he's immediately saying that Krishna, he's God, he's all-pervasive. He's the supreme. There's no one more greater than God. And Vyasadeva is saying, I meditate upon him, the transcendent reality, who's the premeable cause of all causes. So from who has everything come? We are seeing, we always have this. Oh, where do you get this phone from? This shop, this manufacturer, it's this manufacturer. Or where do you get this fruit from? It's from this kind of a tree. Or where do you come from? Or what are your parents? Where do your parents come from? Or where do your ancestors come from? So who has everything and everyone come from? Who's the beginning of everything? The cause of all causes? That is Krishna. That is Krishna. And he's saying here that Krishna is the one, the universes are being created by him, they're maintained by him, and they're destroyed by him. Then he says, I meditate upon that eternally effulgent Lord. So the Brahmajyoti, where is it coming from? It's coming from the body of Krishna. Eternally effulgent, not that he's effulgent for a short time, eternally. He's directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations and yet fully independent. So we think we are independent. We think, but we have tiny independence. Who is fully independent? Is Krishna. God is fully independent. He does not have to do anything unless he wants to do what's his design. By his will, he can do anything and no one can stop him. We have to do certain things. We are bound to do things. God, no. He's completely independent. He's Abhikya Swarat, completely independent. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Very first verse, we get the identity, who is God. And this is the real commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is written by Vyasadeva, and the commentary on the Vedanta Sutra is Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is also written by Vyasadeva. We simply have to hear it. That's all. Unfortunately, if one is attracted to Sri Shankaracharya's commentary, Shariraka Bhashya, his spiritual life is doomed. So we should avoid hearing the impersonalist theory. Avoid hearing it. That's what the instruction of Lord Chaitanya is. And he said, you just hear Bhagavatam. You hear Bhagavatam, you don't need to hear anything else. So we'll stop here for today. I'm not sure if there are any questions or comments.
All okay.
Thank you. Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.